Yes, you've read the title of this video correctly. Today I'm going to be talking about the 7 problems that I have with the Chanel Classic Flap. For those of you out there who've been watching me a while and know of my love for Chanel, this video may seem like quite a surprise, least of all because the Chanel Classic Flap as a whole is one of the most, if not the most iconic fixture to the fashion house, and I would dare say that after the Hermes bags, namely the Birkin, the Kelly and the Constance, the Chanel Classic Flap is one of the most iconic and easily identifiable luxury handbags out there, and it's exemplified by the fact that Chanel keeps producing these bags year after year, as well as the fact that they are subject to the most horrendous price increases lately. And you know, it's something that I've been a sucker to clearly, because I have, as you can see, pretty much every single size of the Classic Flap. And I also realised, just as a side note, you know, I've got a mini here and I've also got a reissue. The other two behind me are the Classic Flaps in the traditional sense of the word, but on the whole this is like the classic range, and I have enough of these bags in my collection now that I actually wanted to make a video about maybe some issues or gripes that you should consider before getting this bag, because I realised in this bag being so iconic, now that Chanel is reaching astronomical prices to the tens of thousands of pounds, it's getting to the point where a lot of people are really, you know, unsure whether they want to spend that amount of money. I want to get straight into this video and talk about the 7 problems that I've had with the Classic Flap. Now let's start off with problem number 1 of the Classic Flap, and these are by no means in any particular order. But the first one is the double flap. In my opinion, is pretty redundant and takes up so much space. Now, obviously, this is not a problem that I have been afflicted with for the Chanel Mini over here, and I will just take it and show you guys. This Mini here, I guess it's classed as a seasonal bag, but you can tell, and I will bring it up a little bit closer for you so that you can see, this is just a single flap opening. There is no double flap pocket here. Whereas, let me just take this small Chanel Classic Flap here. You can see that there is a distinct extra flap. This is the double flap. You know, it's quite a nice story. I've spoken about it in previous videos. I'm sure you've seen other people talk about it as well, but you know, Coco Chanel used to hide her love letters in here, and you know, also in this pocket here you can hide probably, honestly, not even a business card. It will not fit. It's not really functional at all. I don't use it. I think I maybe used it once to like put a piece of paper down the back, which barely fit, because honestly it's held together by the smallest stitches on the side, and it's just something that I feel like would damage the bag over time, because if you actually use that tiny space to fit letters and other papers and things like that, I do think it will pull. And the same goes with the little pocket on the top. I think cute little touch, and they do get bigger obviously with the different sizes that you have as well. So you know, with the small, not much can go in there to be honest, but as you graduate sizes, I think with the scale the pockets do get bigger, so that you could probably fit a small business card. Okay, maybe I take that back. On the whole, it's not a pocket that you would find useful. It's not storage that I thought, oh gosh, I'm so glad I had that. You could fit a business card in here, but I'm not sure why you would shove it in there and not in your wallet, because it would get really, really creased. This pocket I would say is a lot bigger, but still really not something you would be using. I would also say that the double flap doesn't really serve a purpose, because it doesn't add any benefit towards organization, because it's just so in the way. And I'll just re-grab the reissue here. Honestly, I feel like when putting my belongings in, this flap really doesn't serve a purpose. Obviously it may help, you could argue, with shaping the bag round, because I have seen some of the older single flap style Classic Flap bags that, you know, this ends up being a bit pointy, so you do have that. But honestly, it's just a little bit in the way when I'm going through my stuff. Like, you know, if I'm going on the shoulder and rooting through with one hand, lifting up the other flap, it's just a bit annoying. Now let's move on to problem number 2, and I must say this is one of the bigger problems I've had, and probably what instigated me making this video in the first place, and it's something you may have noticed earlier. My bags have this weird crease on the inside pocket, and I think it's there for good. This is what I mean by the crease. It looks like it has a lip. I really hope you can see that. Yeah, there we go. Oh god, it's not that nice, is it? It is pretty butters in my opinion, and you know, just to really hammer the point home. Let's open up my beautiful but sad Tiffany blue or green medium flat bag. You can see it's happening there as well. And then let's just, for good measure, bring out the jumbo reissue here. There you go, that lip is right there as well. This has not happened to any of my other luxury bags. Granted, they're not like Chanel bags, but even with my Chanel ones, even with like my Coco Handle, my Business Affinity, which also have little pockets at the front, this has never happened. So please let me know in the comments below if you do have a classic flap, if this has happened to you or not. Always around it. I assume I will just need to be very careful, maybe pull on other parts of the pocket here just to get into the bag. It's very strange because, like I mentioned, this is not an issue that I'm having with some of my other Chanel bags. Look at that. I open the bag in the same way. I don't know if it's because it's thicker or not. It doesn't seem that much thicker. Both of them have leather lining inside, but yeah, you can see the puckering and the crease on that is just crazy, and I just don't know why it's really happening. I do think it's because of the front pocket on the classic flap, but even so, for the amount of money that you pay for this bag, I really wouldn't have expected this to be happening. Next up for problem number 3 is the limited ways to wear the bag depending on its size. If you are looking for an all-round bag that does the crossbody, the shoulder, the double strap on the shoulder, or even like a clutch moment, you're really not gonna find that in just one classic flap size. So for example, I'm even going to use the Chanel Mini. This bag is primarily a crossbody bag because of the way it falls on the chest, and also, you know, at a push you could say it is a one shoulder strap bag, though it is a little bit long depending on your height. This is not a bag that goes double strapped over the shoulder. Now moving on to the small flat bag, this is one that you can actually wear double strapped on the shoulder because it has the 4 grommets here so that you can actually thread it through quite comfortably. However, with the small size, you're really not going to get it crossbody. So it falls on me really, really nicely. I'm about 5'7", by the way, just in case you are curious. But when you have it crossbody, and the drop length also on one strap on the shoulder is quite nice. If you have it crossbody, it just looks comical. I mean, I'm not even entirely sure. Oh wow, I'm surprised I could get over. This looks very strange. It is not comfortable at all. Even one strapped, you know, that's fine, but my favorite way to wear it is double strapped on the shoulder. But as you can tell, you can only get 2 out of the 3 ways to wear it, shall we say, and also it's too big to wear as a clutch. With this medium sized bag, again, really perfect drop length to wear double strapped over the shoulder. Dare say it's more comfortable than the small size one there, but again, really not something that you can wear crossbody very comfortably. Okay, it's a little bit lower than the small size, but still looks a bit strange. If you have a streetwear vibe, maybe you can get away with it, but really it doesn't look very good. So it's primarily going to be a double strap shoulder bag. The drop is okay on the one strap look. And then finally the jumbo size, double strapped on the shoulder, again for this size and for how heavy the bag will get with the belongings. Perfect drop length for a double strap moment. You know, single, it's a little bit long. You could have it across the body. There we go, that is the length of it. I'm wearing shorts, by the way, not butt naked. You could get away with this crossbody, but again, because of the size of the bag, depending on your frame as well, and if you like the oversized look, it may look a little bit comical. These are primarily double strap shoulder bags, not really crossbody unless you go into really small sizes, and they just don't look good in the multiple different ways to wear it. Again, a personal thing. I'm sure if you put your random chains on it or whatever and, you know, really personalize the bag with different charms and other handles and things like that, you might be able to make it work. For me personally, it looks a bit comical when I try to wear it in more ways than just double strapped over the shoulder. Now on to problem number 4, and this one is kind of related to the earlier point around the redundant double flap, but it is around the fact that this bag doesn't really fit a lot. Capacity is the same, if not the Chanel Mini fits more, just purely because the double flap is not in the way when you fit stuff in. Now, of course, you can see the dimensions. This one looks like it's a lot bigger, But actually, when you see the depth, this one almost is bigger, and when you consider that there is an additional double flap inside this one compared to this, you can definitely fit way more in here. It's a lot lighter as well. There's less weight to it compared to the double flap classic flap bags. And you know, this, although it again serves the purpose of, you know, shaping the bag, and there's a lot of history behind it, doesn't do a lot. So actually, in terms of getting more stuff in and getting more, I suppose, bang for your buck, to be able to fit more in your bag, I feel like the single flap bags are better in that case. And especially with these two sizes and the price differential between them, I think, and I resonate with a lot of other people who've made videos around the classic flaps and the minis comparison, that the mini is a way better value for money. And I would say that the same is true for the other sizes as well. This is quite thick and hefty, and yes, there are some internal pockets there to put like a lipstick or something, but really no big organizational pockets that are gonna make that much of a difference. And there's not that much give to the actual bag itself to be able to stretch the bag, nor would you want to, especially with a bag that's so expensive. And it just gets, I think, in my opinion, a little bit worse the bigger the size of the bag, because there's less structure. When you're trying to stuff things in, I feel like it warps the bag even more, and with the double flap it's just so much more prone potentially to damage. So you fit a lot less. And I was really surprised when I compared, for example, my reissue with my Coco handle. My Coco handle is probably the same size as this, but because it doesn't have a double flap, it fits so much. It fits like a bottle of water. It fits basically like the kitchen sink, right? And this one I was just so surprised, because everybody raves about the jumbo in particular. It just did not live up to my expectations of how much it could fit, and it's a lot heavier actually with the double flap across all of them. So in that respect, I feel like the capacity was a bit disappointing and could be something that you end up getting really annoyed with. Now we're on to problem number 5, and this one I think will be the most shocking to a lot of you out there, especially in light of the price increases, and it's going to be no surprise that it's around quality. The quality is so variable amongst the most recent releases of the classic flap, and honestly it's quite disappointing how easily the bag gets scuffed up. Now I will bring out this melon green small classic flap, because it is the culprit that has received the worst damage, despite me taking arguably like the most care of it, because it's obviously a very light coloured bag. I wore this bag out only a handful of times at this stage, but in the corners here, I hope you'll be able to see that there is some colour wear or leather wear on the sides, and I think it is on most corners, but it's most aggressive on this one. And it's just bewildering to me how, if I'm going from the car to a restaurant and back and it's just sat on my lap, that this could happen. And this is caviar leather. All of the bags are caviar leather or calfskin. I think that one's calfskin, but this bag, my Chanel Mini, I've had the longest out of all of these, and this for some reason looks completely brand new. The corners, in my opinion, pretty immaculate in comparison to that one, which is just so startling, because this one was the most expensive handbag out of all these. I know you'd think that it was the reissue, but actually it was this one. I think this was almost £7,000. But you know, in comparison, I mean, the corners on this one, oh my goodness me, I've just noticed a big scuff on the reissue. There you go, that is bad. And again, guys, I must emphasize, I am not throwing this bag around. This Tiffany one is actually totally fine. So maybe it's just the lighter colored leathers here that are the most vulnerable, because this one is totally fine, thank God. But yeah, this has not happened on any of my other bags, my other Chanel bags as well. And it's just something that is worth really, really thinking about if you're gonna fork over the tens of thousands for this bag. Obviously, if you're just using it, yeah, it might just look a little bit bad, depends how much you're willing to take of it, but it's something that really, really pissed me off. I told my SA and she was like, oh yeah, you know, maybe you just need to like paint over it, or, you know, dab it with a cloth. And I'm thinking, a bit of dabbing is not gonna make a difference, darling, but okay, we can all dream. Now on to problem number 6, we're almost there at the end. And this one isn't something that afflicts my bags really heavily on the classic flap front, something that I've seen though in some of the store classic flaps, and that is just the stitching misalignment and the variation of the quilting. The stitching should go straight through into the bottom, so it should almost feel like it's unbroken in terms of the stitching. So this one's quite good, I would say. Some versions I've had, and I'll just move this, don't cringe, but you know, sometimes it's like misaligned or the flap is wonky, for example. Let me not hold it too wonky, but yeah, that one's quite good. Just something to be aware though, even on the back with the pocket, this one also continues through quite seamlessly, which is nice. But I have, like I mentioned, seen bags in the store that were super wonky and honestly should not have been sold. So this one's not an issue that I've necessarily experienced with my bag, but even with the chevron, this is something to be aware of. The chevron should flow right through. This one, I would dare say, is slightly off. You know, even this one pops out just a little bit, maybe from the belongings that I have inside, but honestly, that should not be happening with such an expensive bag. So please just do your due diligence if you are going to buy this bag in the store, because I don't think they'll do the refund on it. I'm not sure. But now this one, again, I would say pretty good, but oh, actually, this one, I'm not sure if that one perfectly matches with the chevron here. And it's hard to tell because, of course, this chevron is not like the other chevron, which, you know, goes in on itself. Some small details like this may be quite important to you in terms of getting like perfect symmetry for a bag that expensive. So just one thing to think about. And then the final problem that I've had with my Chanel classic flaps, number 7, is that the hardware scratches up quite easily. If you're a person that doesn't like to keep stickers on because you want to use the bag and you want to see the shiny hardware, then over time you will notice a few scuffed small scratches on the mini, not super big, but yeah, you can see a tiny bit hopefully there. Small flap, let me just quickly check. Yeah, you can see a lot of, actually that's a lot of fingerprints and things like that, but they're small minor scratches. You guys may not even see it, but I see it with the naked eye, and I guess that's what matters, isn't it? You have to look at your bags the most. The medium size Tiffany bag has the most scratches, but again, not sure if you're gonna be able to catch that on camera. This gold one though, this rustic gold, this one I think you can see the most. And also I guess you could even say on the converse side that it's meant to be rustic, so it's meant to have that kind of knocked around feel. If you're somebody who really likes pristine bags and you want to use your bags like that and you don't want to have the sticker on it, again, something that may be a make or break for you. With all that being said, those are the 7 problems that I've been having with my Chanel classic flaps. Are they really big problems? I mean, they're livable, but they're not ideal, and it's bags I will never sell, so I'm not concerned from an investment point of view. But if I was somebody who only had a certain amount of money to spend on this bag, and I painted this picture of this Chanel classic flap as like my holy grail, honestly, this would really kind of like dash all of those dreams and fancies that I've had about it. What is it that you can do to avoid these issues? Well, obviously you don't have control over the manufacturing process and things like that, and there's only so much due diligence and, you know, QA control that you can do in store. But, you know, some things that you can do, for example, if you're not so married to the classic flap, you could go the vintage route. Quality is usually better. You could go with seasonal bags, you know, the new classics in a way, and those are bags that are beautiful and functional, which only have a single flap, for example, avoids a lot of the problems that I've just mentioned, and also a lot cheaper as well. And I think that's a route that I am probably going to go almost exclusively down, because I am done pretty much with the classic flap. I've got most of the sizes, and you know, if you do go down the pre-loved route, there are so many options, vintage or even newer models, that, you know, you can actually see the wear and tear of the item itself in terms of how it actually ages, whereas with the new ones it's kind of just a wait and see process. I will leave this video here because I've been chatting a lot already. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in my next one.